They already put you to work, Taylor.
Typically, this is all Jeremy, but he's busy, so I'm taking up the reins.
You know, your stock background, it's backwards. If you look at your stock background, it's the Florida sign is on the wrong side. It's flipped over. You got to flip it.
That's weird. It looks normal on my screen. Here,
Well, on my screen is flipped. I just noticed it. Yeah, that's better. Whatever you did, that's right.
Interesting. Now it's backwards for me.
Right. Well, for me, it's good. Oh,
If my screen is mirrored.
I got to be nice. I see you're recording.
Yeah, this is just so we can put it on the central hub for other officials if they didn't have a chance to join tonight.
Can you guys still hear me all right, Taylor?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's session. Tonight we'll be here with Gilbert Rosario from Pasco, Hernando Officials Association. So we want to thank him and his association for helping us out put this on tonight. We want to thank all of you for being here with us tonight as well, taking time away from your families. And more important things in life as we're all facing the same situation. So thank you for joining us tonight. Couple of housekeeping items. The Q&A box at the bottom of your screen will be open and live for you throughout the session. If you have a question anytime during the presentation, please feel free to jot it in there, and we'll answer all questions at the end of the session. Our goal is to have this for about an hour. If it's a little bit longer, we'll continue. If we have good questions and back and forth, we want to be respectful of everybody's time though. So at any point in time, if you have to leave, feel free to leave if you need to. But again, the goal is for it to be an hour. Gilbert, the show is yours if you want to share your screen, and we can get started.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over the double dual system. It's something that's unique to Florida and some other states. And I've embedded some videos. As Jeremy stated, we would appreciate if we can go through the whole entire presentation. If you have any questions, please, by all means, use the option that they spoke about and put down your questions, and we'll address them at the end. To start, the double dual system, we call it the 3-whistle system because all 3 referees on the field have whistles. They don't have any flags. The basic characteristics of the double dual system is there's 3 qualified referees. In other words, there's not one center referee and ARs. The side referees, that's exactly what they're called. They're called side referees because they are referees. They're not assistant referees. They are actively engaged in the game management. It's not 2 as in the dual, and it's not 1 as in the diagonal. So again, we have 3 qualified referees on the field at all times. The important thing is that the referees, they have to work as a team to manage the game. There's no room for egos. The center referee is not the king. The center referee is working in conjunction with the other 2 side referees. So you really have to be in a team-oriented mindset in order for this system to work properly. All the referees function on the field during the game, It's similar to the dual system where if you've done the dual, you're on the field. Both of you are on the field. Unlike the diagonal system, there are no positioning restrictions on the ARs. And we'll go over some of the mechanics of that later on. The good thing about the double duel is that you as a side referee, you can get closer to the action. I'm going to be showing you a video here where you can see where the side referee is. See the side referee? He's in the penalty area. He's actually in the goal area, and he's very close to play. There's the center referee. And as you can see, the side referee is always on top, close to the game. There you see with the referee. Now, one thing that's important is you as the side referee, and I tell this to a lot of people, you have to know your limitations. So if you can't back out of there quickly enough, you can get caught up in the game. So you have to understand where you are and what your limitations are. But as you can see, the side referee is pretty much really close to all the game action, and he's able to manage that portion of the game that's within his area of responsibility. As you can see, the other side referee, the trail side referee, he's way past the halfway line. So what are the characteristics? All three referees share equal responsibility and authority. Decisions made by one of the referees is final until the game is restarted. Misconduct sanctions issued by any one of the referees are final until the game is restarted. Now, what's important here is it says until the game is restarted. So if you're not, if the team doesn't agree, and remember this stuff, especially if it deals with misconduct, this is something that you're going to be sending up to FHSAA. So if you're going to be sending an AT6 report, one of the things we tell our referees is, everybody get together, discuss it, and make sure you're all on the same page. Because if you're not on the same page, then there's going to be controversy. So you have to make sure that everybody is in agreement as to what is happening on the field at all times. And all three referees should record notes. That way, when you start going through the game report, especially if it has to go up to FHSAA, everybody's on the same page. Each referee has primary responsibility for specific areas of the field. The mechanics are designed to balance the need for primary responsibility. This allows the referees to help each other out to get the call right. Two referees can see the same play. Referees are encouraged to work together. And what's important is if there's two whistles blown simultaneously, and there's two referees, and one is 5 yards away and the other one is 40 yards away, please, by all means, let the guy that's 5 yards away make the call. Because I know it's never happened to any of you guys that have done this before, but sometimes we have referees blow the whistle simultaneously and they point in different directions. So you got to get into that mindset. The closer referee makes the decision because he has the better view. And if you're not sure, there's nothing wrong with, going over and discussing it. And what's important is got to get it right. Another aspect of this is since everybody has a whistle, do not call anything. If you're about 50 yards away, let the closer referee be responsible. There's nothing more upsetting to coaches or fans is if a referee blows a whistle from 75 yards away, and basically you're not working as a team. You're you're throwing the other two referees that are closer to play under the bus. So you gotta, that's why you gotta get this mindset in as to how you wanna manage the game. Recap, 3 qualified referees. All referee functions on the field during the game. All referees share equal responsibility and authority. Each referee has primary responsibility for specific areas of the field. What are the advantages of the double duel system? What works? If you notice the previous videos, the referees are more on the field. The side referee is actually helping the referee to get the calls right. They're closer to the play. They're not restricted by the touch line. So you have 3 referees covering the game. Referees are closer to the players in play. This is the diagonal system. If you look at it, your AR1 under the system that we're all used to doing outside of high school, the AR1 is restricted to be outside of the touch line and covers only half of the field. And the referee has to cover the entire field. Under the double duel system, you do no longer have the restriction of the touch line. You can come onto the field. As you notice, the players are getting boxed in a lot closer. So if you keep your normal diagonal positioning, which is keeping the ball between you and your side referee, you are boxing in play and you're getting to see the action a lot closer and different angles and different views. And this is just showing you the differences between the dual and the diagonal. The diagonal, by the way, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with this, is what FIFA uses. Okay, and if you think about it, FIFA has actually instructed their assistant referees to be more assistant. In the past, the assistant referees were called linesmen, and that's all they were responsible for was the line. About, I'd say, a decade ago, they renamed the linesmen to assistant referees because they want those referees to assist the referee. Well, the double duel system is exactly an extension of that, except that you are closer to play and you're more involved. With the referee knowing that the side referee is going to be covering certain aspects of the field, the referees can take more intelligent positioning. Since you're on the field, you get better foul recognition. Just think about it. If you're closer to the play, you can actually see the foul a lot better than if you're like, 30, 40 yards away. On every foul, using this system, there should be a referee with 10 to 15 yards of the play. A side referee can make this key decisions where the R is screened or too far away. However, this system should not increase the number of fouls called. What this system enables you is to see the foul a lot better and make the accurate call. In this video, you'll see the center referee and you'll see the ball come over and you can see the positioning of this center referee. Now, who do you think made the call there on the handball? It was the side referee because he was in a better position, had a better angle. And they'll show you the backside of this. You can see what the center referee is. You can see if he's back there. See what the side referee is? The center referee probably has the back of that player has to the referee. He couldn't see that. So the side referee made the call. By you being in that position, you can help out the center referee. In this video, the side referee is near the touch line. He is the one that's going to make the call on this foul. The call is made. You saw him blow the whistle. You saw him point up. We don't see the center referee anywhere. The side referee is closer to play. He blew the whistle, made the call. And he's helping with the positioning of where the restart is. What works? More timely decisions. It's better than the diagonal system in that, and I'm sure this never had happened to any referee. It's never happened in my career. And I'm being sarcastic, by the way. How many times have you missed the AR's flag on an offside? Okay, or an AR flag on a foul? Now, what you have to be careful is if you're the side referee, and I'm sure you've heard the concept of wait and see. You're going to have to wait and see before you blow the whistle, because once you blow the whistle, the play stops. So this is an extension of the diagonal where it doesn't take a lot for you to just wait and see, give it a second or two. You can always blow the whistle, you can always call it back. But the important thing is to wait and see. Now, once you're confident that there's an offside infringement or a foul and you blow the whistle, the center referee knows immediately that something happened. It's not like in the past where I've been in situations where I've seen where the AR raises his flag and the center referee has to wait until the parents let him know, the coaches let him know, the players let him know that something happened. So that's one of the advantages of the double duel, but just keep in mind, wait and see. That's what we spoke about. What's important is with the double duel, you need to know the rules because you're going to be acting as a referee. So you have to be as conversant as the center referee when it comes to the rules of the game. We talked about coverage. The side referee is on the field, close to plays. As you can see here, there is no restriction. If you look at side referee 1 and side referee 2, they are expected to cover from the goal line to past the halfway line. And FHSA, in their pay scale, the side referees are getting the same amount of compensation as the center referee. So the expectations is that your work rate is going to be greater and you will be assisting the center referee with the management of the game. So they expect a lot more of a work rate out of you. As you can see, by being in certain positions, you can box in the play a lot closer. So no matter where on the field it is, if you move back and forth, you will be able to box the play in. Counterattacks. This is something that has never happened to any of the referees that I've ever known in my entire life, where you're by the goal line and someone does a counterattack, and what they do is they blast the ball 60 yards down the line. Unless you're Mr. Bolt, I don't think you're going to make up that ground. So this is one of the good things about the double duel system, because the side referee will be able to take over that responsibility until you're able to catch up to play. The lead side referee can easily take control of active play on quick counterattacks until the referee catches up. The trail side referee can deal with potential off the ball incidents, misconduct, which is no different than the diagonal system. If you see in this video, boom, there's a foul there. Who's calling it? It's the side referee. Where's the referee? You don't even see the referee. As you can see, the coaches are really not happy about that, but the referee got the call. He was there. He was in position. There, finally, the side referee, the center referee shows up into the screen. Here's the counterattack. See where the ball ends up? It's a good 50-yard, swing. Side referee gets involved immediately, looks at it, understands where he has to be. He lines up immediately with the second to the last defender. And the center referee is going to go to his position where he should be. So as you can see, it's a long run for the center referee. The double duel system distributes game officiating demands more evenly. Officiating team is responsible. The whole team is responsible, not just one or two referees. Also, it eliminates the concept of the center referee is king. What's important here is that you work as a team and get the calls right. Now, what does the double duel system also do? The double duel system provides opportunities for newer officials because of the team concept. In our association, we have put a rookie in the center. Why? Think about it. Where are all the critical decisions made? They're near the goal line and in the penalty area. Well, if you have two veterans that are backing up a rookie referee, if the rookie misses it, the veteran referees will be able to get it. Okay? The game officials are empowered to manage the game. This whole concept of the double duel, and the reason it was brought to Florida was because, let's face it, our officiating crew, and hopefully we can reverse this, but they're getting a little older and they're not as quick as they used to be. So by doing this, you are extending the life cycle of some of these referees. They have the experience, but they don't have the physical ability to get there quicker. So by having the side referee being closer to play, they can make those critical calls as a team and for the good of the game. It takes 3 qualified referees. Like I said, even the rookie referee, even if he's a rookie, he or she, they need to know the laws of the game. The rules, they need to be on top of it because you cannot hide anywhere. You need to know how to make the calls and make the accurate calls. It's not 1 referee and 2 assistants. It's not 2 varsity referees and 1 junior high referee. This system is a great way of advancing new officials, but they need to be ready. And like I said previously, all officials need to step up. There's nowhere to hide. What does it take? You need to have a team mindset for all officials. Egos cannot play into this. You cannot have one person disagreeing with the team. You have to act as a team. And what you can do with this system is, if there is a different viewpoint, there could be a discussion, and have a discussion and come up with a resolution. Now, when you do this, make sure you have this discussion and it doesn't take more than a minute. It should take seconds if you're all on part of the same team. No room for egos. The game is the equal responsibility of all the referees. It means that all referees must work together to officiate the game for the benefit of the players. And if, you know, I'm sure this has been drilled into your heads. The game is for the players. It's not for the referees. We're there just to enforce the rules of the game. Also, this does not mean that each official is responsible for calling everything anywhere on the field. Like we said, make sure, okay, that if there's a simultaneous whistle and you both look at each other and not sure, get together, discuss it, and get it right. The worst thing that can happen to an officiating crew is when you blow the whistle and the officials point in different directions. That's not for the good of the game. One of the important aspects of the double duel is a pregame. Everybody, I've been doing this for, I don't know when they started double duel, but it's been a while. I remember the first time I did double duel, one of the things that was important was that we talk and discuss with the team what is expected. Because if you don't have a plan, okay, then you're not going to function as a team. I have a saying that if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Well, if you don't have a pregame, you might go somewhere where you don't want to go. You might have somebody that's coming in from the diagonal system. You need to address certain situations with them so they understand what is expected of them. For example, who calls substitutions, who restarts on substitutions, where should you be if there's a foul near the outside of the penalty area, but it's near the 18-yard line, where do you want the side referee to be, and so forth. So you got to go through this whole thing. Also, who has restarts, who does what, who's going to be dealing with certain things. So, you know, you have to cover all your aspects of your pregame. One of the things you might want to remind someone that's never done this is come on the field, get off that touch line. Okay, you're not an AR, you are a side referee, so get closer to play. But also stress on them, you're part of a team. You need to be able to back out of there quickly if the play comes into your area. And you need to know your limitations because, for example, on a counterattack, if you're too pushed into the other half of the field, well, then you're going to have the same issue as the center referee in that you might not be able to make it back on a quick counterattack. So you need to know your limitations. Flexibility is the key to this. Coordination among the referees needs to be consistent and needs to be predictable. So once you've done this for a while, it becomes second nature. And if you watch a really competent officiating crew out there that does the double duel, you can see they're making a lot of eye contact. They're all talking. They're doing little, hand gestures and so forth. They're communicating. And that's what the purpose of this whole system is about. Important, consistency. It takes more effort than the diagonal. So in your pregame, someone needs to cover, well, whose lead are we going to take? Okay, are we going to look towards the center referee and see what they're calling and make our, game calling the same as the center referees? Because the worst thing that can happen is, and I'm sure coaches will let you know, is if you have two referees that are on one, spectrum, and then you have another referee who's on a totally different spectrum. In other words, two referees that allow play to continue, they do a constant play on, they don't call the little trivial fouls and so forth. And you have another referee that calls every little, tic-tac foul. There is no consistency there. So it does require more effort than the diagonal. ARs need to be more active as SR. You are on the field. Your work rate has to be just as great as the center referees. You are getting paid to be a referee. You're not getting paid to be an AR. So your work rate should be there. But by the same token, don't be overactive. Like I said, you got to know your limitations and don't be calling everything on the field. We discussed that about, the two referees calling it one way and the third calling it another way. Anyone can call advantage. But the key here is just call it before someone else's whistle. Therefore, as I discussed before, it's better to wait and get it right. How many times in a game do you hear a referee yell, "Play on," just as the whistle's blowing? There's a reason why a referee might be saying "play on," might be a more experienced referee, might have a better angle, and he sees there's an advantage that's about to be developed. This video covers that aspect of advantage, and you'll see keep a look as to where the side referee is. He's really close to play. He does a really great job of doing a play on, and then you'll see something happen. Center referee is near basically midfield. Here comes the long ball into there's a handball. See, he's saying play on. He's blowing the whistle. He's looking down. What happened there? He got it right. He did call the advantage. However, once he lost his concentration, he didn't realize that there was another advantage. And the advantage was that the team that was offended actually was the team that scored. You can see the handball and watch, boom, the whistle's already blown. Once you blow the whistle, the goal is disallowed. Now what happens? They're setting up the wall. Here I'm sure the referees are praying, please let that ball go in. But it doesn't. So the point that's being made here is please wait and see what happens. Because you saw clearly the white team that was offended, they had a double advantage. One advantage, and then they had a double one where they actually scored. What makes the double duel system work? Training. That's why you're here today. We train referees. We do not train referees and assistant referees. This isn't like what you're used to with your state associations, whether you're from New Jersey, New York, Florida, California. There they train referees and they train assistant referees. The double duel system is training referees. They should be interchangeable. Okay. And practice. It took me personally about half a season before I got really comfortable with the double duel system. Because if you've never done it, you being a assistant referee, you were never on the field. So now you got to figure out, where can I go on the field without interfering with play, and how can I back out of play without interfering with play, and how can I be close, and as you can see, and what kind of speed do I need on a counterattack and so forth. So you see, all those things go through your head. And the only way you're going to learn that is by actually practicing and implementing what you learned. In summary, the double duel system is 3 qualified referees. The referees, they need to step up, they can't hide. And what's more important is it's a team mindset. team. If you have one referee who is constantly off the page of the other two referees, the concept of team is destroyed. Thorough pregame conference, prepare for addressing game situations. And by the way, one of the things that most referees cover is fight situations. What happens if a fight breaks out? Where are the referees going to be? You know, who's going to be doing what? So you got to get that all down, because when stuff like that happens, if you don't have a plan, you won't be able to react accordingly. We discussed it before. Everybody has a different officiating style, but what you want to do is you want to get it as consistent as possible. That way the coaches will say, okay, it was consistently called. Like we said previously, if you have two referees that are letting the game play out and one referee calling everything, well, you know, that's going to be, you're not managing the game. Training and practice. An open mind is the key. I remember when they first came up with the double duel system, there were a lot of referees and good referees, by the way, that they said, I'm not doing this. This isn't really officiating. And the reason you need to have an open mind is you have to adapt and you have to change. And why are you doing this? It's for the good of the game and for the athletes. So you got to make up your mind. Are you going to be part of a team, or you're not going to be part of the team? And that's the key. Just remember, a good official is a good official regardless of the officiating system. I think we've beaten the concept that if you don't have a good pregame, you're going to fail, because you need to have a plan. And by the way, this not only is related to the double duel system, it's also related to the diagonal system. If you don't have a pregame, you're going to have the same problem. So either way, you need to have a game plan. Like we discussed, you might be having some really great referees coming into your association that have never done the double duel. So it's a totally new system for them. So they need to know what is expected of them. It's building the team. When you're going over the pregame, it's really a discussion among the three of you, okay? Like I said, in our association, we put rookies in the center. And we assign a crew chief. That crew chief is responsible for the overall gamesmanship of that game. But the reason that a crew chief is there is to build a team. They're going to go review officiating priorities, review dynamic positioning, you know, where you should be on the field, you know, what you got to do, who's going to be doing the substitutions, who's going to be doing what, so forth and so on. Review set play positioning. Like I said, if there's a foul outside of the penalty area, but it's near the 18-yard line, where do you want the side referee to be? If you don't tell them where you want them to be, you might have to use hand signals, but if you're covering your pregame, it's pretty straightforward. Review restart procedures. A lot of times, for example, if I'm the center referee, I'll run down to the next, where the next play is going to develop, and I'll tell the trail referee to spot the ball and restart the game. Review substitution procedures, review whistling mechanics. In our association, 2 tweets means stop the game for a reason. 2 tweets could be substitutions, 2 tweets could be an injury, and so forth and so on. 1 tweet, foul. 1 long tweet, very serious foul. So, go over those mechanics. Go over game management and administration. I'm sure if you've done any high school games, the first person you should be seeking out is who's the administrator on the game that night, because they are your best friend in case something starts going south. Okay? You need to know tie-breaking procedures if you're in a tournament. And if you're in the state series, you need to know the tie-breaking procedures. Knowledge of the teams and players. You know what teams really have a rivalry going, and you're going to have to officiate those games very tightly. You also know, after you've done, games for several years, if you see a player that's a hothead, you need to manage that player. Knowledge of the matchup history, importance of the match. Whoever loses goes home. Whoever wins goes on to regionals. So you think that's going to be a contested game? Yeah, so you need to know the importance of the match. The officiating team creates a game plan. And the reason for the game plan is to increase the probability of a well-officiated game. This is nothing different than what you used to see. Side referees, you're going to work. You're going to work the wings, okay? That is your area of coverage, as you can see. And that rectangle can move, depending on what side of the field the ball is, that you can get more coverage. If you saw the other referee on the video, he was pretty close to the goal itself. It's a referee that's very confident in what he's doing, and he's confident that he can back out of there quickly. You as a side referee, if you're doing your job properly, I would say 90% of the time you will be on the field. You're helping the center referee to box in the play and the players. Center referee, fouls and misconduct. You box and play with the lead side referee, manage free kick restarts. How do you manage it? It's what you say in your pregame. Ball out of play. Side referees, you box and play with the center referees. This is critical. This is what I mean. You need to know your limitations. As a side referee, and I covered this in my pregame, if I'm the center, I tell the side referee, your primary responsibility is offside. Your next responsibility is balls in and out of play, over the touchline and over the goal line. And then fouls, and then misconduct. If you're a side referee and you're on the field and you're being very active and you lose sight of the fact that you're not level with the second to the last defender, then you're not doing your job. That's why side referees, if you do your job properly, you're going to be exhausted at the end of the game. You're going to have to take those quick runs. You're going to have to stop, reverse field, move back up, where the center referee can do, he can run and take soft turns. Where you as a side referee, you're going to have to come to a stop and reverse field immediately in order to be even with the second to last defender or the ball, whichever is closer to the goal line. As we stated before, if the center wants you to, mark the free kick position, you can do so as a throw referee. The center referee, like I said, vary the diagonal pattern, box into play, avoid interfering with players in play, and be close to anticipated trouble spots. So as you can see, the center referee does cover a lot of the field, but the side referee is covering a lot of field too. And you got to remember where you are. You have to be parallel to the touch line, maintain the offside position. That is critical. Missing an offside call can be the difference between you having an outcome on the game, and you don't want to be in that position. You're going to cover 2/3 of the field. It's not just half, you're going to be covering 2/3. That's what I'm saying. Your work rate has to be up there. Play in the side referee's half of the field is the active half. Play in the opposite half of the field is the inactive, okay? However, even if it's in the inactive half, you're going to be looking for potential problems. Like if you notice two players are not getting along and they see the officiating team like going down, don't put yourself in a spot where you won't see what's going on, because that's how you lose control of the game. So you can see side referees have a lot of space that they have to cover. We're going to be going over position mechanics. At the start of play, it's no different the diagonal. The only difference is that look where the side referees are. They're on the field, and they should be even with the second to last defender. On a free kick, okay, the ball's going to the left. The side referee, SR1, is even with the second to last defender. Okay, the center referee is there. And the side referee too is even with the second to last defender. And the reason he or she is there is for the counterattack, in case there's a quick counterattack. It's just showing you different, movements that you can do either as a center referee or as a side referee. Here, this was covered in the pregame. There's a free kick near the goal. That center referee in his pregame instructed the side referee to go to the goal line. The center referee is now assuming the responsibility of any offside. And look what the side referee 2 is. Literally on the other half of the field. That referee has enough confidence that he can get back in time for a potential counterattack. The lead side referee should be making the decisions for any ball at or near the goal line. Follow all balls to the goal line, must be in position to make the call. How can you make a call that is a goal when you're 20 yards from the goal line? There's no way the center referee can make that call. It is the responsibility of the side referee to make sure that he or she is on that goal line to make that call. I don't know if you've ever seen this video, and there's a shot, boom. Is it in? We don't know. Who makes that call? The center referee? No, it has to be the side referee. Now, that referee crew called it a goal. How do you know? Because everybody's going back. They're going to restart it in the center. There's going to be a slow motion. And again, I know we don't have the opportunity or the privilege of having things replay for us in slow motion. But if you're near the goal line and you make a call, you're selling your call. I don't see the side referee there, but when they show this in slow motion, you'll see that the whole of the ball has not crossed the goal line. Therefore, it's not a goal. You do not want to be that referee. Substitution responsibilities. Center referee assist the bench SR. Misconduct, side referees. In your pregame, you decide what's going to happen. One of the things that we do in our pregames is whoever sees it, it doesn't matter who it is, if they see someone else at the halfway line for a substitution, anybody can blow the whistle, 2 tweets to let the whole team know, the officiating team, that there's going to be a substitution. Okay? Now, the bench side referee verifies the number of players coming in and off. Remember, it's just to stop the game. Restarting, the bench side referee whistles the restart, okay, in accordance to what FHSAA wants us to do. However, one of the things that we cover in our pregame is please confirm with the center referee that it's okay to restart the game, because the center referee needs to be in position, and SR, 1 or 2, depending on which side of the field it is, they also need to be positioned. So before you restart a game, make sure that you confirm with your teammates that we're all ready to go. And usually the way we do this, we look at each other and we just do a thumbs up. Okay. Corner kicks. If it's on your side referee recommended to be in that position. If it's on the other side, you can pinch in. As you can see, you can pinch in because you're not interfering with play. Goal kick, side referee number 1, make sure that the ball is placed in the goal area for the free kick, and then moves over to be even with the second to last defender. Penalty kicks. Again, look where SR1 is. He's on the other side of the field. Center referee, identify who's going to take the kick. They're ready for the kick. Side referee lines up, no different than the diagonal system of control. On the goal line, on the penalty area line. When you do this, make sure that there is no one behind you, because to do a proper penalty kick, everybody has to be behind the ball. And if one of the players runs behind you and starts off field before the penalty kick is taken, then you're missing the mechanic. That's the line, everybody's behind the ball. Throw in, again, side referees just need to know where you are. Center referee could be off the field to get a better angle. Center referee can run on, so forth. Again, this whole system is about dynamic positioning. End of period. All referees, number 1, whoever the referee is nearest to the ball retrieves the ball. All 3 referees should meet together at midfield. You're a team. You lead the field together as a team. One of the things that we stress is, and referees in our association, they've heard this concept, get out of dodge. Get out of dodge quickly, because if it's a heated game and so forth and so on, there's going to be 50% of the people that are happy and 50% of the people that are not happy. So lead together, get out of there, Just grab your bags and leave. If something does happen before you leave, it is still your responsibility because you're still in the vicinity of the field to address the situation. All right? Avoid confrontation with emotional participants. The easiest way to avoid confrontations is if you're a team together, there's 3 of you, you're both leaving together, they can say whatever they want, you just keep marching out. Okay? Simple as that. Okay? And if you feel that you're being threatened, by all means, seek out security. Review. The double duel system is the ability of the referees to coordinate their efforts. It's teamwork and a thorough pre-game briefing are critical. And on that note, what we can do is I'll stop sharing and we can address some of the questions.
Thank you, Gilbert. That was very awesome. Before we open it up to questions, I know we have some pending already. I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is the best practices for Pasco Hernando. Now, obviously, we would like the whole state to be on the same page and calling exactly the same way. But this is what Pasco Hernando does best for their officials and for their area. So if some of the things that Gilbert said you don't agree with, or you may have a different look on how to handle things, that's fine. We're just here tonight and in these sessions to share information. And if something does work well and you want to pick it up, you're able to feel free to do that. We will also be posting this session and the PowerPoint on the Central Hub under the soccer session or the soccer sports page. So everybody can go back and rewatch it or share it with your groups and things like that. So I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but that's what we've done with football and volleyball. We just want our associations in here talking to each other and sharing ideas. So with that being said, I do think we have a few questions. We can bring on Corey Sobers and Alex Ozuna as well, the directors for soccer. Corey covers girls, Alex does boys. So that way, if there's any that they need to answer as well or touch on, we can do that. Taylor, do you have a couple of questions there that you want to go ahead and ask?
Yeah, we have a couple questions in the Q&A and some in the chat. So the first one is going to be directed towards Alex and Corey. Is the FHSAA going to issue a mandate that all boys games are done with a 3-man system? Either Corey or Alex.
Okay, my apologies. I'm on my phone, so please bear with me. First of all, with this question, I want to address first, we wouldn't do something with the boys in a vacuum from the girls when it comes to the officiating system itself. So please don't look at it as would we do something for the boys? If we do something, it's going to be for both genders. To this question, in the regular season, we like the double duel is designed for 3 officials. So of course we would like 3 officials. That being said, in the regular season, 2 officials is permissible. Once we get to the state series, and the state series is what we consider a district tournament and beyond. So your district tournament, regional tournament, and state tournament. At that time, we would expect three officials for both genders. This year in particular, with what's going on in COVID and whatnot, I actually anticipate that you may actually have more requests in the regular season for 2 officials because of the financial impact on the schools potentially. But I guess we'll see how that plays out as we get closer to it. Hopefully that addresses that question.
Thank you, Corey. And this one is FHSA related as well. Maybe you can answer it. Are there plans to set teams on opposite sides of the field? If so, please discuss bench or one or both sides.
I'll jump on that one. As of right now, we haven't made any adjustments yet. However, that is within the rules of the game. We're still working with local schools and school districts to determine what's best. When that time comes, that might be one of the suggestions we make. That being said, the players are going to intermingle on the field. So I don't know how much of a difference splitting up the benches will do when it comes to COVID, because the players are intermingling. But we will put out some considerations for schools to kind of look at, and one of those considerations may be splitting up the benches.
So we'll continue on with some FHSA questions because there were some in the chat. Somebody asked, I've always been a fan of the DDS. However, a lot of coaches in our area are not, and they're trying to get the FHSA to change back to the diagonal system. What is the status of the request? If we stay with the DDS, how can we educate coaches better?
At this point, the status is done. It did go to the board of directors. They did deny that request. So we are continuing with the double dual system moving forward. This item cannot be brought up to the board for another 4 years at this point, because it can't be brought up to the soccer committee for another 2 years. And it has to go to a 2-year process. So for the foreseeable future, we are stuck with the double dual system, whether coaches or officials like it or not. This is what we're going to be doing moving forward for the foreseeable future. What was the other part of the question, Taylor?
If we stay with DDS, how can we educate coaches better?
That's the toughest part. And as you guys already know, most of these coaches go back and forth between club and high school games. And, they really do enjoy the diagonal system of officiating, and they're used to it. So the education part, we definitely do our best to make sure they know that this is the double dual system, is what we use in soccer. Most coaches are aware of it. They're not going to like it, but it is what it is. That's where we are moving forward. That's what our board wants us to do. So we're going to follow suit.
Okay. And any difference in officiating when done a girls' game versus a boys' game as far as positioning? So I think Gilbert or Alex, either one of you guys.
Well, Alex, if you don't mind, I'll take that and you can add on that. I get that question a lot, and I tell referees, you are paid professionals. Do your job. It doesn't matter if it's a girls' team or a boys' team. You are expected to have a high work rate and make sure that you do the best that you can on that game. As a matter of fact, I've been on some girls' games that are more competitive than some of the boys' games. So there should be no discrimination. Alex?
Yeah, to add on, the expectations is you treat the boys the same as the girls and vice versa. Like Gilbert said, there are some girls' games that are tougher than the boys' games. It's a sport of soccer. There's games that you walk in, you think it's two tough teams. It's going to be a tough matchup. Next thing you know, it's a blowout. It happens. It's high school soccer. And that's going to happen in the girls' games and the boys' games. So I would not say, officials should treat a girls' game any different than a boys' game. They should be treated the exact same way. And that's why when we do evaluations, we tell folks to schedule girls' games just as much as boys. The level should not change just because of gender change.
Okay, so to move on to something that has to do with evaluations as well. This one may be more directed to Gilbert. Why doesn't this jive with an evaluation in regards to evaluators don't want the AR on the field, they want you on the sideline?
Well, I can answer that. I've been evaluated numerous times, and at least the evaluators that we've had, if you were not on the field, they took points off. So they are being consistent with the double dual system. So that's speaking from my own experience. Alex or Corey?
Gilbert, I think you answered that perfectly. I don't think I need to add on to that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question. What happens if the veteran CR instructs the SRs to not call handballs in the penalty area?
Then that center referee has not embraced the concept of the double duel. That center referee has not embraced the concept of FIFA either, because in FIFA, they instruct the center referees that if you're out of position and your assistant referee clearly sees something, they are to inform you. So my take on this, if a center referee tells the side referee don't call anything, then why does he have or she have side referees? You're not a team.
Okay.
And to tack on that, I think that defeats the whole purpose of the double dual system. That really goes completely against what it's for. The sidebar referees are there to make those calls. If we were doing the diagonal system, that would be an appropriate request, but that's not the case. It's a double duel, so all officials are expected to make those calls.
Okay. Next question. There are some fields where the area 1 to 3 yards near the touch line is restrictive or with obstacles, making it distracting. Sprinkler fixtures, water drains, running track, etc. I find myself boxed in on competitive games where my back may be to the CR. How best to manage this situation while maintaining contact with CR, manage intense action, so during intense action.
I guess what they're saying is that the touch line is near sprinklers and water drains and so forth. Yeah, we all have that. You know, do the best that you can without hurting yourself. Like one of the things that I stressed during the presentation is you need to know your limitations. Well, if you have a drainage thing, that's a limitation. So you need to be able to adapt accordingly. The important thing is don't get hurt and manage the game.
Okay. So the next question from Jeff Kersner is, so many coaches complain about the double do systems, SR spending too much time watching for fouls and missing offside calls. In addition, they complain about the discrepancies between fouls called or not called by the SR. They feel that the quality of the SR is lacking and that they would prefer one more experienced referee making all the decisions on fouls and offsides, aka diagonal. Any specific techniques in addition to placing rookies in the middle and a good pregame on their responsibilities do you find helpful in maintaining consistency and in communicating a team approach to officiating?
Well, I'll answer that by, if you listen to the presentation, I stated that this is really a team effort. And one of the concepts of being a team effort is consistency. So you need to have consistency. If you don't have consistency, then the team is not going to be functioning effectively and efficiently. And this is where we talked about where if you have two referees calling it one way and one referee, that basically, you know, throws the whole game management aspect out the door. So the key there is make sure you're consistent.
Okay. And next question is, what is the ruling if a ball strikes a CR or SR on the field for the NFHS rules for 2021?
I haven't seen the rule changes yet. Alex or Corey, have you seen them?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Okay.
The question is, under FIFA, if the ball strikes the center referee or a side referee that's on the field and it changes possession of the ball, in FIFA, what you do is you award the ball, you know, via a drop ball to the team that have possession of it. In other words, you're breaking up a.
That is one of the rule changes this year is mirroring FIFA. So this coming up this year, when we do play, if it hits the official or any unusual situation, the ball gets deflated, something like that, simultaneous contact, it defers back to the team who last had possession of the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, generally it'll be, I'm sorry, I'm gonna piggyback on Alex. Generally the ball is in play unless, like you said, Gilbert, possession changes, or if the ball were to go directly into the goal for some reason right off the official, that would be another situation. And like Alex said, you would restart with the drop ball procedure.
Well, if I may ask a question, would that mean that the team that gets it, the opposing team is going to be the 4.5 yards away? Did they add that? No.
I don't see anything about.
I don't believe so, no.
4.5 yards. I don't see anything about that specifically, Gilbert.
All right.
No. The only difference too is if the ball was in the box, a goal box, when it happens, it goes to that team, and it goes to the goalie, and the goalie
Right.
kicks off. That's the only difference.
Okay.
Okay, so I think this next one is for Alex and Corey. Mostly, could this presentation be made available if not required for coaches? So it is going to be available through the official central hub, which coaches can access, but I'm not sure if maybe it's something that we can put on home campus or not.
It's definitely something we can put on home campus. I think it'll be a great tool for official or the coaches to view. The one issue is that we can't make it a requirement, so they'll have to view at their own leisure. But we could definitely make them aware that the presentation is there for them.
Hey, Taylor, I would recommend that as well. Through Arbiter, they have to have an Arbiter account, so while they would possibly be able to see it, they may not be able to access it because the items are usually done for Arbiter accounts only. So I think home campus would be the best route to go.
Okay, sounds good. Next question is, any changes in the national anthem as to kneeling and sportsmanship? So this
No.
went to our officials leadership meeting for fall sports by Justin. We're not mandating anything, but an official is able to. It's not their job to police if people are kneeling during the national anthem.
Ms. Geis, FHSAA came out with a policy on this 2 years ago. And basically what they said is, you're a paid professional, do your job. Don't inject yourself into the game.
Correct. And I would say that there has been no changes since then. So move forward. That's the same approach you should take. Like you said, you're a professional. For one, the crowd is not here to see you and what you do. So I would not interject myself in any of that situation as an official.
Agreed.
Okay. Next question is, have worked some games where time is kept near the benches using a remote control device. Is there discussion in letting the CR maintain time using electronic systems?
Well, I can answer that. I mean, per the NFHS and per Florida High School Athletic Association, who is responsible for keeping the time? It's the center referee. One of the things that we're supposed to be doing is making sure that at each opportunity that we try to get the stadium clock or whatever to be as close to our time as possible. But we are ultimately responsible for the time.
Gilbert's absolutely correct. We consider the official time to be what the center referee is keeping. So what's on the scoreboard or what is being done by the host controlling the clock at the scorer's table, that's unofficial. The official is being kept by the center referee, and then as Gilbert said, it's the center referee's job during stoppages and water breaks and whatnot to keep that clock in sync with the scoreboard as best as he or she can.
And to piggyback on that, one of the things that we do at the state finals is we have a contest official actually keep the clock for us. So I would definitely say if that's something you're capable of doing and the school's capable, has that capability, I say sure. I would rather have a contest official control the clock than a student, because that's usually where you have your issues, is between that communication with the clock on the official's wrist and then the display clock being manned by a student at the school or somebody else who may not be paying attention. So if there's a contest official that can man it, that'll be great. I think that's the best case scenario.
Okay, this next question is going to be for Gil. It says your slide shows SR2 coming up to a position between the midfield and the top of the PA, also on PK. Is there a concern that players may be behind and that offsides is problematic on a counterattack? And I believe
No, I know exactly what he's asking.
Well, he included IFK or dropped ball, but I'm not sure if that's in reference to the same question.
No, I think it's a different question. To answer that first question, this is where I say every person needs to know their limitations. So if you're comfortable moving up there and you can get back there and be consistent with the offside on the counterattack, fine. I know my limitations since I've gotten a little older. I'm going to be with the second to the last defender.
Okay. And next question is, are the rules updated for this high school season from 2019-20 or 2021 or 20/21 IFB laws of the game? Alex or Corey. It's probably is directed to you.
Well, the NFHS came out with the rule changes, I want to say just this past summer. So that's something that we're going to work on and put a PowerPoint together like we've done in years past to send out to all associations to distribute. On top of that, the NFHS, I believe, will be coming out with a new soccer rules book pretty soon. So that would be available to you guys soon. We'll be mailing out the physical books to the officials within the next few months. And just to clarify, that is not that is specifically to NFHS rules and not international rules.
Next, Greg McCoy says, I think the question is in regards to the timing. Could the CR use the remote control for the stadium clock as the official clock?
And the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that as long as it's not something that's very bulky. If it's something you could put on your wrist, yeah, that's even better. Because then there will be no difference between your timing and the stadium clock.
And kind of to go back to my first answer, if the school has it available and it's comfortable for you guys to use it and it works, yes, go ahead. As it is right now, NFHS allows for electronics, for officials to use electronics on the field. So this would fall in line perfectly. Like I said before, we all feel more comfortable when the officials running it anyways.
Okay. So there's a couple of questions in regards to just rules. One is, are we following FIFA on goal kicks? And the next is, will FHSA adopt any or all FIFA law changes like NCAA and ISOA?
As far as the adopting the FIFA rule on goal kicks, yes, there has been an update to the NFHS rules that once the ball is spotted, it can be kicked from the ground at any point within the goal area by a player of the defending team. So that change has been made for the upcoming season. I don't recall, Taylor, I apologize. I don't recall what the other question.
It was, will FHSA adopt any or all FIFA law changes like NCAA or NISOA?
We go by the NFHS. So whatever the NFHS enacts in their rules book is what we adopt. We do not follow FIFA or any other organization. We follow NFHS. Now, what I would say is I've had the privilege of being part of that NFHS rules committee. We do review NCAA rules as well as FIFA rules when making rule adjustments. So we do look at it and see what works for high school athletics and what doesn't, and we kind of follow suit. But that doesn't mean that we're going to follow all FIFA changes or NCAA rule changes when they make them.
Okay, and I think this may be our last question. So we are past an hour, so we do want to wrap this up. The last one is a little long. This is a positioning question. What advice do you have to a CR who has an SR that does not have a high work rate fitness level? Should the CR be moving closer to play that should be covered by an SR because he or she is very behind play? How much should the CR compromise his or her positioning and coverage through the match? I think, Gilbert, this one would go to you.
This is no different whether you're using the double duel or the diagonal system. If your assistant referee or your side referee is not helping you, yes, you as the center referee, you're going to have to work harder to make up for that. What I do suggest, and we do this in our association, is if we notice a situation like this, we bring it up to the executive board and we discuss whether that referee needs to be spoken to and find out why they're not capable of performing their assigned duties.
Okay, yeah. So thank you, Gil, for everything today. It was very informative. We appreciate you taking the time out and preparing this presentation for all of us. And thank you to all the attendees for taking time out of their days and their busy schedules to gain a little knowledge in the world of officiating. I appreciate Alex, Corey, Jeremy, everybody here. So we're gonna wrap it up and say goodbye. Good night.
All right, well, one last note, stay healthy and stay strong.
Yes, everybody stay safe, please. Good night.